Hey YouTube, what is up? Re-angling the light. We are back in 2021 for the first video on UniX DBS, a channel just about the card game, you know? And we be kind of having some fun. So I think with the new year, and this actually has nothing to do with the new year, I just wanted to first say thank you for all the support. This part actually does have something to do with the new year. I'm all over the place. But thank you for all the support. We started off the year with 450 subscribers, and I'm just gonna try to push towards 500, do a little celebration halfway there point, and then make our way to 1,000, just continuing to put out new content. But we got a lot of good stuff planned for this year. We had a tournament later this month in Connecticut. We've got a new set dropping in a matter of weeks, and all in all, it's gonna be fun. But while we're talking about this new set, I want to go into my favorite picks going into this set, like cards I just love looking at. Like when I read them, I was like, ooh, this is neato. Yeah, so we're gonna get right into that. Right before that, no, just want to say the normal spiel, okay? Like if you haven't joined the Facebook group, think about joining it. Link will be in the description. It is the biggest group for our card game. Don't forget that. We also got a Discord, you know, people testing there regularly. We chat, we mess around. It's a pretty fun place, I like to think. So think about hitting that up too. And then if you like the content, think about hitting the subscribe button and the notification button so you can continue getting more content on the reg. So. Let's actually hop right in. These are my top, I guess at this point it did reach 10 cards for this set. And I'm not saying like they're the best cards inside, they're just the ones that have a special place in my heart. Let me get my reading glasses because I'm old. Yeah, see, look at that. Look at that. I was wondering what was different. I was like, the whole world looks 480p. And then I just switched it to like HD. So, the first card I have on my list now is actually Piccolo Jr. Descend of the King. It's a 2-drop unison. Auto, when your opponent activates a counter skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards 15k power or less and KO it. That's cool. +1, draw a card. +1, draw a card in unison is always one of the most fun effects you could possibly have, because one maybe not fun, but consistent, you know? You're going to plus it, which is the goal, and then you're going to draw a card, which is another option. Amazing. And then it's a 15k body on a 2-drop. That should not be scoffed at. Your opponent's awakened leader, unawakened leader most of the times will have to combo to try to punch it in the face. And then activate main. Here's the cool part. It's a -2 for its ult, essentially. Activate main, choose up to one of your red battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less. Choose all of your opponent's battle cards to power less than or equal to the chosen card and KO them. This card gains Rejuvenate, and once per turn, remove 2 markers from this card for the turn. So, here's a couple things about this guy. They just really put him over the moon for me. 1, 2-drop 15k is great. On a unison, cool. But the fact that when your opponent uses the counter skill, you can blow up a 15k. This is actually kind of crazy, because there are times where you're trying to, that was the goal anyway, you're swinging on a battle card you want off the board, whether it be a floodgate, whether it be a combo piece, but you're swinging with it. And then they try to protect it with counters, but they can't, because if they do, you'll just choose it and blow it up anyway. This is actually a really, really cool effect. It kind of makes it so this character is kind of a get it in there kind of character, you know? To get it in their card. You swing at a target at early game and they go, ah, crap. And they got to either let it go or they got to combo out of it, because what they don't want to do is spend energy, play a counter for you to blow it up anyway. It's +1 draw card, just consistently solid effect for Unison to take up on. And then its activate main is cool because you can turn a beefy beat stick into a board wipe. Like, what's worse than cheating out a 25k 3-drop? I don't know, blowing up all your opponent's battle cards at turn 2 or 3 that have less than 25k. That's pretty immaculate. And then it doesn't say read their original attack, so you can boost up something. I mean, like you might not use it in a deck like this, but in a GT deck with things like Pan, you know, you could boost something up stupid high and then just be like, okay, Piccolo Jr., read its attack, blow up everything. So I think that's actually really, really, really good. And then its -2 becomes essentially a -4 because you nuke the field, but then you can also rejuvenate by -2 again. Overall, I love how this card was designed. I think it's just very, 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 very versatile. Next card, we've got Great Sandman, Punisher of Evil. Now, anytime you read a card and it has this many keywords, it's either broken or there's something that makes it unplayable. I don't really think this card is broken. But it's definitely not unplayable. This card is one of the best blockers I think in the game. Deflect, barrier, blocker, revenge. This guy is going to block for you. This guy cannot be countered. This guy cannot be targeted unless the effect ignores barrier. And on top of that, this guy's got revenge. And the cool thing is, once per turn, when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, switch this card and up to one of your mono blue energy to active mode. Let's say your opponent swings with, I don't know, 30k, and you Sensu, and then combo on them, and they swing again. You have a 25k blocker that's going to block something. And oh my gosh, just switch one of your energy to active mode. Yeah, no. This card is actually insane. And the only thing holding it back from being busted is that it is a 3-drop that costs 3 specific blue. So chances are, unless you're multicolored to the extreme or you're mono blue, you're not playing this card. But you know what? With a card this good, I don't mind that. It's busted. Like, this card is thick with value. It almost makes me feel not bad for having a 3-drop in this format. Actually, there's nothing that can make me not feel bad for paying 3 energy for something that's not game. So, but this is great. It's Gohan, which automatically makes it cool. Let's move on. We got Raditz, Invader from Afar. Activate main. Once per turn, flip up to 1 card in your opponent's life face up. Then +1, you may choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, discards it. Then you choose up to 1 of your cards against critical for the turn. It's -5, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand and discards them. Okay, look, -5 is hefty, and it doesn't really do that much if your opponent is actually plussing or, you know, amassing a hand. But its +1 is actually surprisingly interesting. You're going to take a card from your hand, true, but it's controlled. You know, you put the worst card in your hand to the grave, or if you have graveyard effects, you do that. And then on top of that, you're able to give something critical. And if you start giving something with double strike or dual attack critical, like, there's a lot of dumb things you can do with this +1. And its normal activate main also gives you information on your life. This card may not be busted, but I just love its effect. In fact, if this card was a 2-drop instead of a 3-drop, it would probably actually be borderline, I think, busted as heck. But I just like the effects on this card, and I think it's really solid. Now the next one. I normally don't like putting archetype cards on my tops because they're limited to what cards are printed for, but sometimes you just gotta give it to them. Like, this guy's got unique, deflect, and critical, okay? Wonderful. Permanent. If you have 3 or more Turles, Crusher, Core cards in your battle area, and you have 3 or more energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2, making Turles Cosmic Rogue a 2-drop green card. Now permanent, during your turn, all Turles, Crusher, Core cards in your battle area gain 10,000 power. Okay, he is going to buff the entire squad. And then when this card attacks, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Alright, look, here's what you need to know. This guy's a Turles Crusher Core. So he's going to be coming in at 25 deflect, 25 critical, okay? And when he swings, you're going to be able to blow up an opponent's battle card. There's no restriction on that cost, so it's really just a matter of whether it has barrier or not. And then mind you, you have cards like the Tree of Might, which can give your Turles cards double strike. So really don't sleep on this card. This card is monstrous, powerful. And even though I said I don't like doing archetype cards, I also can't ignore how savage Kill Driver is. Activate battle. If your leader card is a Turles Crusher Core card, flip up to 1 card in your opponent's life face up, then choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards, and it gains plus 10,000 power for the battle, then choose one. Already before you even get to the choose one, 10,000 power for 1 energy is standard. Flipping an opponent's card up in your life when your leader card is apt to choose which life they destroy is crazier, but it's also more information. Then you choose to draw 1 card, or if it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and energy cost greater than their current energy and KO it. This is a pseudo max power Kamehameha, and it's also going to do crazy things. Like, at worst, this is an unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. You know, you draw a card, you gain 10k, but you're gonna flip a card up in your opponent's life. And then, you know, moreover, it can be removable. This card is incredible for like what it does. Like, I actually fell in love with this card just reading it. It's clean. Now, the next card on my list is Vados Cosmic Aid. When your opponent attacks, you may choose one yellow skill as battle card in your hand or drop area and combo with it if you do negate the skill for the turn. And its other cool thing is +1, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards using cards, switch to rest mode. Now, its -4 is really hefty for what it does. Play up to 2 skill as battle cards, 15k power from your deck or drop area, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. I don't think its +4 is ever getting off. To be honest, I don't really think its +1 is really that great, but it is the only unison that can defend itself. So that's pretty cool. This unison can go up to 25, and then just the way this deck is, you're gonna be able to bring that same vanilla card back to the board, and that's clean, that's crisp. The next card I like actually is Sun Gohan Stalling for Time. Now he's a 1-drop, but auto add 1 card from your life to your hand. When this card attacks, it gains plus 10,000 power for the turn. So, or 11,000. So it's gonna go to a 15k. That's pretty standard. But this other part, if your leader card is yellow, when you deal damage to your opponent by attacking with this card, look at up to the top 7 cards from your deck. Play up to 1 yellow skill as battle card, energy cost of 2, and a 15,000 power amongst them in rest mode. Shuffle your deck. You're gonna be able to swing with this card, and in lots of cases be able to cascade into your yellow vanilla. Now, I feel like when you play decks like this, like I think I only played like 8 vanillas, so the chances of hitting it with my top 7 is kind of low. But if you're playing more vanillas, this card is actually really cool. And I just, 1, I like Gohan, but 2, it's really cool to have a card that self-awakens and potentially thins from your deck, which is going to be another beater that sits into your strategy. Wonderful. Now, the next card on the list is actually going to be Omega Shenron, Allies Absorbed. And this is a pretty dank card. Unique, needs to be, but activate main, choose 1 mono yellow Shadow Dragon card with energy cost of 4 or less in your battle area, place it in its owner's drop, draw 1 card, then play this card from here. Okay, this guy's gonna sack a ball from your field, which is how lots of them work, but the interesting part is he floats. He plays himself, so you lose 1 card, and then you draw a card, so he's gonna float himself. But his real ability is once per turn, if your looted card is a yellow Shadow Dragon card, and you send 1 mono yellow Shadow Dragon card with energy cost between 2 and 4 that isn't a Sin Shenron card from your drop area to your owner's board, choose up to 1 card from your life to your hand, add, and this card gains the skills of the card you sent to the warp till the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is actually pretty disgusting because you're going to be able to emulate any Shenron that you've played. I mean, it's like, oh, you didn't like that effect before? Cool, Omega Shenron, copy it, and you'll be able to work around. So I do like this because essentially this man potentially could just be another copy of any Shadow Dragon. You just have to draw him and play him. I like that a lot. This guy is actually juice, and his art looks really good here. Better than his SPR, I think. Now, we're kind of getting down to the end of the list. We've got Dark Mask King Devilish Dominator. He's wild. Triple strike, deflect. Once per turn when this card attacks, send up to 2 battle cards from your opponent's drop area to their warp. If your opponent has 10 or more cards in their warp, switch this card to active mode. So when you swing, he can potentially just untap. And if you're playing Shroom and Salsa, you're removing a lot of cards. But if you're playing against a black deck, this card just might close out game. Because he will swing twice. Auto, once per turn, if your opponent activates a counter skill during a battle with this card, send 1 card in your opponent's life to the warp. And you can cheat this guy out by paying 4 energy if you have, your opponent has 3 or more cards in their warp. And you just play this card. So 3 or more cards in the warp and this goes, and then if your opponent has 10 or more cards in the warp, and mind you, when this guy swings, the way that autos can work, you know, you swing and remove up to 2 cards. Okay, it's just the way it's worded. You remove up to 2 battle cards, and then you count to see if there's 10. So don't let anybody shark you on that. But that's actually pretty disgusting. Last one on this list. Actually, you know what? We're going to say one more thing about this. I think this card is disgusting because if you play against a black deck, this is an automatic turn 4 probably kill on them. They will lose a single life if they negate you, and either way, you're going to be dual attacking with a triple striker, which is disgusting. So the last card is Supreme Kai Space Time Unraveler. Ultimate, permanent. If this card will be removed from your battle area, remove from the game instead. Cool. Activate main. 1, choose this card and all of your opponent's battle cards and unison cards and send them to the owner's warps. Activate battle. 1. If you have 3 or more energy, play these cards or play this card from your hand. If you do, your opponent can't attack with leader cards and unison cards for the turn. So it's kind of like a miniature floodgate, and that's actually pretty fun. Miniature floodgates on point. And it's not the baby hatch that we needed for the deck for black, but it's a kind of defensive card, and it's a much needed board wipe in black. And I, for one, cannot wait to get my hands on this. This is probably the only card of the set that I won't try to flip immediately. TBH. So, that being said, I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know in the comments if you guys had a favorite card that you like that wasn't on this list, or if you have something on this list that you think you like, let me know. Because I want to see your thoughts too. I want that forum to light up. Or if you want to talk about in the Discord, like I said, links in the description, just join and talk. Until then, Happy New Year's, and I will see you next time you decide to join Universe X. Later.